Hey guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to share with you a Twitch VOD for the NK65 build we just did. I'm so loving this all blacked out look. The keyboard turned out fantastic. It sounds fantastic. We put some NovelKeys Creams in there, lubed with 205 grade 0. This VOD will show you the entire process of building this board from scratch and some of the common mistakes that might be made so that I can make them and you don't have to. It will also break down what it takes to tune the stabilizers, the plate mount stabilizers that come with the board, and yeah, just have a good time. If you are interested in coming over to Twitch, it's twitch.tv/existentiallyyours. I'm live Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, as many days as I can be there, and we have a lot of fun, so check it out. Thanks so much. Bye. I can't wait. Look, it's fine. Like, it's, you guys came here early. You're fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. What if we got the same sticker? What do you think? Oh, right. Personal information. Hang on. They came in separate boxes because I ordered one and then I decided to go back and order a second one. Yeah, I like chill music on stream. So here are inks. I'm curious actually if this is the which style of ink this is, like, or which revision of the inks this is. If it's the one that has the loose leaf issue or not. Let's find out. Because I know that Gatoron has finally said that they're going to be doing something about it. Oh, yep. Yep. Loose leaf. Very, very loose. Okay, so the inks that ship with the NK75, or that did for me, like they were in their own bag, so obviously they can be switched out whenever. Maybe they'll be different with the extras, but these are definitely the loose leaf version. So you just have to be very careful when you're opening them up and lubing. No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Oh shoot. Okay. Yeah, you just have to be really, really careful. There we go. Come on. All right. So yeah, like that's the kind of danger, is that as you're lubing, you can't really tell if like one of the two pieces of the leaf has come out, and so it's possible that like one of your legs could be shorter than the other, and you know, as you reassemble your switch, it's not actually aligned correctly, so you got to be really, really careful with them as you're lubing. So I'll put this guy back together for the time being, but we'll lube these guys up very, very soon. There we go. You also need to be very careful when reassembling them, because if the leaf does get out of place, it can overlap incorrectly with the other leaf, and then you're screwed. Okay. So now we know. These are the older stock with the loose leaf issue, but that's okay. That just means you need to be very careful with them. So this is one of the options. This is one of the options for which switches we'll be able to put into our NK65. Okay. The big reveal is here. We got another sticker, different sticker. Okay. Oh, I'm so excited. I'll open it like this. I'm opening it towards you guys, okay? We're also going to turn this down. Oh. That's right. This $140 custom keyboard shipped with its own carrying case. How ridiculous is that? Mike pulled off some type of wizardry to get this keyboard to ship with a really nice, high-quality carrying case and protector. I don't know if you would categorize it as a carrying case or protector or what, but like I'm gonna use this when I travel, absolutely, because it'll fit any 65% and presumably smaller form factors, but ooh. Okay, we're gonna get to the keyboard in a second. We're gonna weigh it. We're gonna do all that stuff. But I want to see what extras came in, because there was some stuff. I don't know if you guys can really see, but there was some stuff up here in this top pocket that I want to examine first. So we've got our stabs, and according to Mike, these are Cherry OEM stabs, and these are going to be plate mount stabs, not PCB mount. We've got our screws. It's freaking keyboard. I know. And then up here is going to be our PCB. And interesting, this one at least came with the sticker ripped, but that's not a big deal. And these are going to be our feet that we put on the bottom of the keyboard. Okay, so these, as you can see, they're just like 3M backed, nice rubber feet that we're gonna put on the bottom. And then here's our PCB. It's a nice matte black, designed by Yiancar, who I was actually chatting with earlier. He might show up in the stream at some point. But it's full RGB. You can see NovelKeys, and then designed by Yiancar in Cambridge, UK. And then here's the other side, where you can kind of see more of how the hot swap features play out. And then it's USB-C, which is really, really nice. Everybody should be doing USB-C at this point. But the other really nice thing, and I don't know if I realized this when I bought it, one really nice thing about this is that it has the additional holes for 5-pin switches, so you don't actually have to clip your switches if you want to. So even though it does have a plate, you don't have to clip your switches to make them fit, because he just included those. So I think that's really fantastic. It means that since it's hot swap, you could, you know, basically keep your 5-pin switches in there, and then if you ever want to replace them or take them to another board, you can, and you won't have to, like, then you can make the decision about whether you want to keep the feed or not on the next board. So I think that's a really good idea when you're, specifically when you're mating it with hot swap. Yeah. Let's give you guys like a really nice good look at that. Really up close and personal. There it is, NK65 V1.1. And there, you may notice some other things about this PCB, right? Some PCBs you need to, you like the matte black? I do too, I really do. Some PCBs need to kind of like make contact at specific points with the board. But this one, you can see these little cutouts, and I think the intent is that it is what would be considered an isolation mount. So it's not actually making contact with the board in as many places, which gives it a different feel. So yeah, let's see if there's anything else interesting about this that I can see. Over here are the 3 lights that will be for caps lock, num lock, and a function layer, or I'm not actually sure what the 3rd light's for. And then, Lucky, since you always ask, let's see if I can find the chip for you. There it is. STM32F303. Okay, so we're gonna set that guy aside as well. We're gonna weigh all of this as like at the same time. Scroll lock. Oh yes, well maybe scroll lock. That's probably it though. But we're gonna weigh all of this, both built and unbuilt, because like the weight of a keyboard has a pretty profound difference on how it feels and sounds. And so even though this is an aluminum keyboard, you might not, like, it might be lighter or heavier than others kind of in the same class, but for $140, it's, I'm not expecting it to weigh the same as a keyboard with a brass weight, you know, or anything like that. But we're gonna weigh it all. Can you not? All right. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. And this, as you can see, it's kind of form-fitted to this specific shape, this 65% shape. But I'm gonna try some other keyboards in there as well, and see if it can be used interchangeably. Okay. Okay. The other, I guess you could call it a feature of this guy, and again, just that gorgeous matte black. This is an aluminum plate, and you can see as I get some light on there, nice matte finish to it. If you are looking at this, you might think to yourself, okay, well then where are the screws? Like, they're not on the side, they're not on the back, they're not on the bottom. And so this is what's called like a seamless design, where the top piece goes over the sides, so that, like, even though this is kind of what the base looks like without the top piece on, once you put the top piece over, it has a very clean look to it. All right, I'm being very careful with this. I'm not going to use gloves or anything because it's mine, and I'm going to be using it. But if we look at the back, like this is the underside of the plate, right? It comes pre-attached, and I think you could build it pre-attached if you wanted. Like, I don't think you need to remove it necessarily. But these screws are Torx screws. And let me find the exact size of the Torx screws for you. Because I'm going to take it all apart, even though I probably don't need to. T6. Yeah, T6. So this is a Torx bit. If you guys have seen those before. Yeah. It's kind of got like a star pattern to it. So this is T6. Troy Steria. Okay, guys, it's happening. Troy Steria is here. I have known Troy longer than anybody else in chat, except for maybe my sister. My sister sometimes comes to chat, but I've known Troy for decades. He and I played RuneScape together way back in the day. I checked. I've been playing, I started playing RuneScape 17 years ago in 2002. Boy, how far we've come. It's happening, yes. But let's see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 screws. And then, I don't know if you guys can see this exactly. On this screw, there's something going on there. I can't really tell what's going on. But I'm gonna take the plate off regardless. Just so that we can assess it piece by piece. Hang on. Just so we don't lose our screws, I'm going to use like a little magnetic holder. You still have your account? I have to appeal mine from time to time because they don't believe that I am still J272 from 17 years ago. I actually, the most recent time I had to appeal, I wrote them an impassioned letter about how they were going to be on the wrong side of history. Because they denied my request, and I was like, no, this is my account. I promise. And like, you guys, you don't even understand. I've been playing this game for 17 years. I promise it's my account. And then they actually, after I appealed it, they allowed me back into my account. But I definitely log in from time to time for the nostalgia. Okay. This is a lot of screws for a plate. Like a lot. I'm guessing that most people will not do this, that most people won't take the route of unscrewing the plate before assembly, because it's not necessary, but I like to, especially because when I am streaming, you know, it's not as much about me as it is giving everybody else kind of like a comprehensive look at what's going on. So I definitely want to do my due diligence and then also show little imperfections like what's going on with that, oh, whoops, I left a couple over on that side. And not that the imperfections, especially on the inside, mean much. They definitely don't mean anything to me. but they do give us little hints about the manufacturing process that I think are worth exploring. Okay, so here we are. Now we can remove this plate. Cool. And so I don't know what happened in that corner there. But I'm gonna try to clean it out a little bit. Okay, but now that we have everything actually disassembled, we can do our weights, which not everybody's gonna care about, but it's a good baseline. So we'll zero it out. We'll go from heavy to light, and then we'll put it all together. Okay, so this is the base, right? Oh, my head is covering it. Okay. £1, 11 3/4 ounces. Yeah, £1, 11 3/4 ounces. And then the top, 5 1/8 ounces. And the plate, which is aluminum, it's gonna be lighter than most plates like a brass plate. 2.5. Okay, now we can do all three combined. Oh. I didn't drop anything. You dropped something. That was you, not me. We're gonna do all of those things combined. £2, 4 ounces plus the PCB. £2, 8 ounces. Okay, so definitely on the lighter side, but it doesn't feel like it's lacking. It doesn't feel like it's missing any heft. And then we'll wait again once we're done actually building it, like once it has switches and everything inside of it. Okay, so we can kind of set these things aside, because what we're going to do next is work with the PCB a bit. And that's just because PCBs are by far the most complex piece of a keyboard, right? Like all of this stuff is just aluminum. It's just metal that we've kind of cut into a specific shape. But this is electronics. And so we need to be very, very certain that it works correctly before we build up around it. Especially if it were, you know, a soldered board. Like if we were going to be soldering switches in here, we'd want to make super sure that it was working and, you know, everything before we build up around it and start soldering things into it. Okay, let's see. I have this spare USB-C cable that I got from Rama that I'll use to test this with. Hopefully we'll get a bit of a light show as well. Ooh, that's bright. I made the mistake of looking directly into that. It's extraordinarily bright. Okay. Um, now what we can do is basically test each switch one by one using a program called Switch Hitter. So let's see, let's pull up Switch Hitter. Okay. And the way that we're going to test this is we're going to use a pair of tweezers to short the connections between each switch and see if it's going to actuate correctly, right? So you'll be able to see on this screen which keys I am hitting at any given point in time. And then I think what we'll want to do is actually do this from the back side, because otherwise you're going to start wearing out the leads that, you know, go from switch to switch. So you don't want to be simulating putting a switch in at this point. You just want to be simulating a key press. So on the back here, we can start the back, go, whoop. Okay, that was our home.
I get a little bit Genghis Khan.
There's backspace.
Get it on with nobody else but me.
We're gonna go one by one, just shorting these individually. And make sure that each switch actuates as we expect. That was interesting. These middle ones didn't make great contact. I'll go back over them. That's 9. This is 8. This should be 7. Yeah, okay. 4, 3. There's escape. Perfect. And you'll notice that the tilde is not going to show up at this point because it's going to be on, it doesn't have its own key. It's going to be on a function layer, essentially. Because we've chosen a keyboard that has a smaller form factor. And so we don't get all of the keys that we will get out of like a 104 key ANSI keyboard. But that's okay, we'll still get all the functionality due to modifiers and all that. But we basically, when it comes to smaller form factor keyboards, you're basically choosing the smallest amount that you can live with, and then, you know, go up from there. Or at least that's how I do it. Rather than being like, I want all the keys, I start on the other side and I'm like, well, what do I really need to use? And then from there, I can kind of reclaim desk space and, you know, have a more enjoyable experience that way. So, I lost my place. Okay, and then that's going to be our page up. You're going to be end. Oh, hey, look at that. Turns out that the end key, which I didn't have on my last keyboard, is one that triggers a scene transition. Okay, now we're in the arrow keys. Okay. There's enter. And this is kind of like a tedious process, but it builds confidence, you know, in your board, and helps you know that, like, if you put in a switch and a key doesn't work, you know it's a switch. You know it's not the PCB. Okay, and then this right here, I don't know if you guys can see it very well. No, it's actually under the switch hitter. We have a physical reset button, which is really important if you're going to be programming your board and need to kind of cycle the or like flash the memory on it. Having a physical reset button is better than needing to jump like specific. If you remember the macro pad build we did, we had to jump specific pins on the controller board. And so this kind of bypasses that system and gives you a physical reset button so that you don't have to take apart your board and, you know, do all of this stuff. You have a physical reset switch. Okay. Back to it. And I keep getting distracted and losing my place. Shift. And this can be done with any metal object. It doesn't have to be tweezers. It can literally be anything. As long as you're making electrical connection. That's all that matters. And you don't need to be scared of it either. I had somebody come into my stream once when I was doing... Oh, I did it again. Not a pro streamer. What was I saying? Oh, I had somebody watching at one point who legitimately thought that I was going to like injure myself with exposed electronics like this, and you don't need to. It's not like you're not working with high voltage at all. You're not even working on the voltage lines. So when you're going through this process, you do not need to be worried about it at all. That was our control. I'm guessing that's a function key. There's Alt. Space. Alt. Win. Control. Perfect. Okay. That's all we care about on a 65%. You're an idiot. I'm watching on my phone instead of PC, which I'm on now. Oh, I mean, some of the smaller, finer details will probably be a little bit more difficult to make out on your phone, but that's okay. So yeah, I'm fully confident with that. The other thing that kind of boosts confidence, and we can get out a switch hitter at this point, that boosts confidence is, you know, seeing all these LEDs working, and then we're gonna try to activate these lights as well towards the end, just to make sure that they're working, but we don't have to worry about that at this point. Okay, so let's see. In terms of stabilizers, these are the cherry stabilizers that are sent with the kit. And we'll go through tuning stabilizers. I don't really need this giant piece of protective material, but I'm gonna use it anyway. So if you look at all these components, you're going to see 4 wires. And what, 16 other pieces. And so since these are plate mount stabilizers, you'll notice there's no place to screw them in on the bottom. I can show you a contrasting stabilizer. And I apologize if I'm repeating information for some people, but I know that a lot of people in my stream are not as familiar with these things, so it doesn't hurt to go over them again. So this is a screw-in stabilizer, and so these guys come with screws that will go through the PCB and actually, like, you know, pull the stabilizer down onto the PCB. And you can see on the bottom there those 2 screw holes, right? So this would be a screw-in stabilizer. And then for this is a plate mount stabilizer, which just clips in. You can actually kind of see what it's going to do once we actually get it down in there. If you press that down, it looks like a little elf shoe. You're going to press that down and it's going to snap into place. So most, I don't want to say most boards will use screw in, but a lot of people prefer it because of the security. But then one of the things you want to do, if you can, if you're actually screwing through a PCB, is put some type of yeah, I like it's the holidays, right? If you're actually going to be screwing through the PCB, what you might want to do is put a little piece of insulating material like between the PCB and the screw itself, and it'll help preserve, you know, that connection. And it's not like you're actually going to short anything, but it's another extra measure and another extra assurance. I have not personally known anybody who's had stabilizers, like screw-in stabilizers, hurt their PCBs or short anything, but I know a lot of people who do that step anyway, just to be sure, and I can't blame them. Okay. So we're gonna need, let's see, what will this be for? Showing you the plate kind of on top of the PCB will help solidify this image. Right, so that's over there. That'll be like this. If our board is facing you, right, this is the way the PCB will go. And then to show you what the plate looks overlaid on top of that, right? That's kind of what we're looking at. Is like that. Okay. And so we're going to need a stabilizer for our spacebar, which is the big guy. And this is a pretty forced layout because, I mean, with a lower cost unit, you can't really be enforcing tons and tons of different, or like supporting tons and tons of different layouts, because that adds complexity to the cost and everything. So our stabilizers here are going to be for space, for left shift, not right shift. Right shift is a 1U. This is enter, right here. And then backspace. So those are our 4 stabilizers that we will need. I'm going to turn this back towards me because otherwise I'm going to get confused. What's happening? I'm building a keyboard, dude. Didn't you know? And hanging out with people. It's a 65. It is. Yes. Okay. So in terms of what is referred to as tuning stabilizers, what you're going to be doing is looking at like the feet here. Okay, so you can see how there are specific parts of this feet, or this stem, that have like this very harsh little edge to them, right? They kind of like poke out. And those things are going to be making contact with your PCB, right? And so what you want to do is basically clip that off and make sure that it is no longer going to be impacting your PCB and adding additional wear and noise and all these things. So there's this magic tool. I love it so much. It's called a flush cutter. It's not flashing exactly because it's intended to be there, but we don't want it there. Like it's like flashing, I see flashing as artifacts of the manufacturing process, but this is an intentional thing. Like, it's meant to be there for whatever reason, but I don't want it there. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna use these flush cutters, which are kind of like a normal cutter, but then they have this angle to them that allows you to kind of turn them at, I don't know, maybe a 30-degree angle. Turn it at a 30-degree angle and clip, and make sure that when you're clipping, it's flush, right? Because if you think about it, if you had like straight cutters, well, to get flush, you have to be like completely, you know, flat against the plane that you're cutting against. But with flush cutters, you have that little bit of angle to assist you. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come over there, we're gonna clip, and I'm just gonna set these in my little screw tray. And so you can see we clipped one. Now we're gonna clip the other. We want to keep the flat ones, okay? So if you can see, like, the ones that we're clipping are the ones that protrude out past and like have that really sharp, harsh piece of plastic. The ones we want to keep are the ones that are already flat. Can you flush cutters do the pins? Yeah, yes, you can, absolutely. That is one of the main uses for them. And so now what we kind of have is this little Z pattern, right? And we've gotten rid of the pieces that protrude past that. And actually, interestingly, these appear to have like a little bit more material than others that I've tuned, so I'm gonna get rid of that too. Okay. So now the only thing that will be touching the PCB is this nice flat edge, right? That's what we're going for. We're gonna do that to every single one. Just making sure, and you can use your finger. You can just use your finger to kind of feel it. You'll be able to tell once it's done right. Because what you want is that nice flat base. Anything that keeps you from having a nice flat base, you want to get rid of. Helios is linear right. Yes, yes they are. I actually have some Helios. We're gonna do a poll at some point. We're gonna do a poll where chat will be able to decide which switches go into this, because it's hot swap, right? And so this is a great way for you if you don't know a lot about which switch you like, or if you haven't really developed a ton of taste for what you want in a keyboard. Hot swap is gonna be a really good first choice.
This could be the disaster I've been waiting for.
Golden Brick TV, thank you for following. Hot swap is going to be a really great choice for you because it gives you kind of that ability.
This could be the disaster I've been waiting
Chrono
for.
Man, thank you very much as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's going to be a great option to. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I try to start pretty basic. I know that a lot of people who are just now getting into the hobby can go into some streams and see people working at like a super high level, like, and you know, or high level, low level, you know, working on a very expensive board and maybe not, you know, going through every single detail. But since this is kind of a budget board in the first place, and it's going to be a very attractive one as an entry point to the hobby, I wanted to make sure that we were going through each little thing. And I've been requested to put stuff on YouTube, and so I'm gonna start putting like my build streams on YouTube, which, you know, doesn't have the same level of interactivity and people can't quite ask the same questions. So putting like oversharing information, you know, is good for that format as well. Honestly, still don't understand, but we'll stick to just buying them all put together. Yeah, so the thing about custom keyboards, Troy, and the reason that I was attracted to it is because it really allows you to fine-tune your experience with your computer. And I don't know how many hours a day I spend on my computer, but it's a lot, right? You know, you do it at work, or I do it at work, and then I come home, and I do it at home, and like, if I can really fine-tune that experience just for the amount of time that I'm spending using a keyboard, that's worth it for me. Okay. So we're almost done with these guys. And then we get to talk about lube. Lube. There are lots of different lubes, too. You're flipping between silent and just another linear. I assume that's because you and I talked about this a little bit, but you are hoping that it doesn't kind of ruin the point of having a mechanical keyboard. It's a really fun hobby. It's surprisingly fun and addictive. I kind of made the mistake of jumping in feet first and just like ordering tons of.
Let's go.
Troy! Thank you so much for the support. Thank you, sir. I kind of made the mistake of kind of jumping in, and I didn't know anything. I just heard buzzwords. I was like, oh well, holy pandas are good because people talk about holy pandas a lot, but I didn't really know what they meant. I didn't know what they felt like, and so I was like, I should buy some. I should make them. And thank you, Troy. I mean, it's gonna be a while before we've made it, but thank you very much for the support. And yeah, Zelios, Helios, like I bought tons and tons of stuff, you know, just thinking like, oh, this is the standard. This is what people like. Before I had really developed any taste of my own, and then it turned out I really liked silent linears, and so, you know, I eventually kind of refined my taste, but it took a while, and I think there was probably a cheaper way to do it that I skipped out on. I know that Futile did the switch tester route, which I think is great, but switch testers can only get you so far because they present to you a lot of options, and they almost, you know, make the decision harder. And they don't have the depth, and then like you're also not using it as a full keyboard, which is a completely different experience. So you got to be careful. But it at least gives you a rough idea. So I'm fine with it. Okay, what was I doing? Lube. Okay. So for this one, we're going to be using 205 grade 0, which is just a type of lube that has properties that work well with keyboards, right? And so the community over time has developed tastes for different types of lubes. I also have things like Crystal Lube, MCG 129, Trebosis 3204, 3203, dielectric grease. Like, these are all just different types of lubrication that we found that work well with keyboards and that give us either a certain level of smoothness that's, you know, not muddy, right? Because like you could have a lube that's really, really thick, and it's like, oh man, it makes it super, super smooth, but at the same time it like kills the feel of the switch. And so like these are just guidelines. You can try it with anything. I know people that have done it with olive oil, gun oil, you know, whatever. And then what sort of materials do I use to dampen my keyboard? I use this stuff. And this is Toolbox Liner. And this, you can cut into whatever shape you want. And for a keyboard like this, oh, I forgot. For a keyboard like this, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because you've got all of these, you know, little pieces that you need to cut out for. But I might try that actually in this stream. I might try to cut out a piece and see what the clearance is. And if you need to cut out, you know, for each of these individual pieces, because there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 different pieces that you need to cut out, and probably a section around your USB as well, right? So we might get into that if the stream goes well. But this is Toolbox Liner. I bought it at Home Depot. It was pretty cheap. It comes in roll of a lot. You can get a lot of keyboards for it, or with it, with one roll. Also, I forgot. Here, could you cut out crosses? Yeah, you can. That's what I've done with other boards. But I kind of realized that we skipped a little portion of the discussion where we kind of run through the tech specs of the keyboard that we're working on. So the NK65 is from NovelKeys. Let's see, when was it? It was run in like June, I believe. And it's a 65% layout. So here's kind of the fully assembled look, right? It's got a full bottom row, and then you've got this nice arrow cluster in here, which if we were talking about, you know, 60%, you do not get an arrow cluster on a 60%. But on this guy you will, and you'll get things like end, page up, page down, and, you know, you can modify these to be whatever you really want them to be. But then no F row, obviously, and then no numpad. So that's kind of the 65% form factor in a nutshell. So, standard 65, hot swap PCB. PCB is QMK VIA compatible, and what that means is that when you're programming it, there are different standards for how you can load your own profile onto a keyboard. And for the custom community, QMK is very, very popular, and then VIA is also like a tool that allows you to load a profile onto a keyboard. And so we're gonna do both of those things. I'll show you the process for loading both ways. Switches is south facing. The PCB designed by Yiancar also features 3 indicator LEDs that can be customized via QMK VIA. So those are the lights that we were talking about on the left that would be like scroll lock, num lock, caps lock, but you can actually design them or customize them to be whatever you want them to be. Kit will come with aluminum case plate, PCB, and cherry plate mount stabilizers. We are also offering a kit that is completed with your choice of NovelKeys Creams or Gatoron inks. So I got the Gatoron inks. Keycaps are not included, obviously. Modified top mount. Plate screws into the top case, PCB screws into the plate, and plate screws into the bottom case. This design allows for no visible screws once assembled, which is what we talked about earlier. I really like that look, especially with kind of like the matte black charcoal, like deep charcoal gray. Really like that. We talked about that. USB-C, per switch RGB lighting, also programmable via QMK. Surprisingly, this is another thing that I get the most questions about, are keyboards that not only have RGB, but allow you to program them key by key. And QMK and VIA are going to allow you to do that, whereas even kind of like some of the most advanced or like what we would call industry standard keyboards don't allow you to. And so there's another, you know, kind of plus for customs is that you just have really low level control. Plate mount stabilizers, PCB plate, 8-degree angle. So the angle, when they talk about angle, is this, right? So this is the typing angle as it goes from front to back. And so this is 8 degrees. That's pretty common. 7 might be a little bit more common in the hobby right now. But 8 degrees is a very pleasing angle for me. Okay. So we got that out of the way. You could just... Oh, yeah, I already read all that. Cool. So, in terms of lube, right, we were talking about 205 grade 0 as being one of the industry standards, or one of the custom keyboard standards. And for stabilizers specifically, you're going to be looking to coat where plastic meets plastic, essentially. Hang on. Well, this one's broken. That's a little disappointing. I don't know if you guys can see that, but like this back piece right here is broken off. This one's okay. Please. So, okay. Broken. So I might have to find a replacement for that on my own, because it's not gonna snap in correctly. Okay. I'll have to figure that out on my own time, not on stream. But you're gonna want to get some of your lube, whatever lube you choose. It's all personal preference. Whatever lube you choose. And since this is kind of like the outer housing of the stabilizer, you're gonna do the inside where plastic hits plastic, right? Because like the slider is gonna be coming up and down in here. So we're just gonna put some lube in there. And you can be, for stabilizers, you can be pretty generous. For switches, if you're lubing switches, I tend to use a lot less than most people, but for stabilizers, you can go a little bit more. And it's gonna be hard to show you guys exactly how much I put in there, but I'll do my best. And it also depends, it depends as well on which type of lube you've chosen. Because some lubes are thicker than others, some will behave differently, you know, some will move around a little bit more, you know, once you've actually got your slider in. But here we go. I don't know if it's gonna show at all. But basically we're just trying to coat that inner portion so that once we put the slider in, right, the stem slider portion in, it is not going to be just plastic on plastic. We've actually got lube in there. Okay, so the next thing that I can kind of talk to is how do they go back together? Because an embarrassing thing that has happened to me in the past is that I've taken these apart and then been like, wait, I forget how they go back together. The easiest way to remember it is as you are looking at where the wire goes in, right? There's only one way that the wire can go in on the housing side, right? That's blocked off. But this is the front. And then for the slider, you can see on one side, there's one hole. On the other side, there's 2 holes. 2 holes will go into the front. So you're gonna insert the 2-hole side into the front, okay? That's the easiest way to remember it, in my experience. If you come up with a better one, please let me know. But then, these housings are all the same. The wire length is the only thing that's different, okay? So then we'll do the other side first, and then we'll assemble one entirely, and then we'll kind of just like zoom through the rest. but your intent with lube is to even out the experience. You're not trying to really dampen anything. You're not trying to, you know, go overboard. You're just trying to even out the experience. And that's going to be anywhere plastic is on plastic or metal is on plastic. Okay, so again, 2 holes going in there. And then we'll just do the spacebar first because it's the most dramatic example. So then this is gonna go in eventually, but we need to do work on this guy as well because we're going to, as another metal to plastic joint or point of contact, we're gonna go on here. We're gonna get around this edge. It's really important to go just around that corner a little bit. And again, you can be a little bit more liberal here as well. I kind of want to overlube it just to show you why it's not a big deal. But that just means, like, you'd see it kind of globbing up and you'd think to yourself, that doesn't look right. I need to clean that up a little bit. Like, that lube doesn't belong there. Okay. So, now that we have all of the components lubed correctly, I'll show you how to reassemble it. Oh. Okay, so we've got our housing with the stem inside. We've got the housing pointing, like the 2 holes pointing forward. I'm just gonna snap him in there. Oh, come on. Is he not gonna play nice? It's not sliding in for some reason. Oh, okay. No. This is weird. This isn't the broken one. I appear to have messed up somehow. I think they're just stiff. Like I think they're just like that clearance for these guys is really small on these. I don't know if these are. Oh wait, I know why. No. I know why. I didn't actually mess up. These are retooled. So I do remember. Okay, I need to relube this. But I remember Mech Merlin going over this on his stream, and I completely forgot about it. But the holes are smaller on these than they are for other ones, so I think they just need a little bit more force to go in. And I was just scared because, like, it's a pretty small connection there. You had the same problem? Yeah. Okay. I'm glad. Like, I started freaking out. I was like, pressure's on. What's going on? Why is this not working? I'm on stream. Everybody's looking. No, it's fine. Okay. But I set these down in my panic, and I'm just gonna add a little bit more lube. There we go. Okay. Now we're golden. Okay, so here's what one completed side looks like. I was so scared, man. I really thought that I had messed something up. Actually, the other side was like way easier too. Interesting. Oh, there you have it. So there's one done, and then, like I said, we're just gonna kind of zoom through the rest. You had to wiggle a bit the stem so the wire would go in. Yeah, that's exactly what I had to do. I was so worried that I'd messed up something that, like, I took my time to really understand what the problem was before brute forcing it. And I used to use dielectric grease on stabs, but I have switched to 205 just because it's a little bit more manageable. Like, I was using Teflon on the insides here, so like Teflon on the insides of these guys, and then dielectric grease on the wire itself, but I've started using more 205. First of all, because I have it. Like, I ordered a lot of it at once to make sure that I would not run out anytime soon. So part of it is that I just have it. The other part is that I do enjoy the feel. Being smart. It's rare on this stream that we have a being smart moment, but do I think it's doable with 3204? Yeah, I do. Not 3203, but 3204. I think you could. And that's going to be preference. But 3203 I think is too thin. 3204 would be fine. Okay. Let's get one of our 2U wires. So again, with this layout, it's going to be like a pretty standard layout. So this is going to be a 6.25U spacebar and 2U backspace, enter, and left shift. That's the only one I have, so I did the housings with 3204 and wire with the electric. Yeah, I think that's totally fine. I mean, if you do it and you like the result, that's all that matters. Because yeah, 205 is pretty expensive. I got it before it got really expensive. But I do buy all of my lube through switchmod.net. They are not a sponsor, but I really like working with Krelbit. He's a really good guy. Okay. Please don't be difficult. Please don't be difficult. Please don't be difficult. Had a bit of a hard time with the spacebar, but there's a bit of rattle, but only on the far right, so it's fine. Okay. There's one side, and come on. I believe in you. I believe in you, Wire. You can do this. Be the man you were always meant to be. Or woman. There we go. Okay. Oh, did it upside down. There we go. Perfect. Dude, is it time to play Christmas music? Everybody in chat has been saying that it is not, and have been making fun of me. Calling me Christmas boy. If you love Christmas so much, why don't you marry it? You know, things like that. Is it Christmas music time? You do you. I usually do. But like, if people are not going to enjoy the stream because there's Christmas music playing, I'm not gonna do it. I don't care that much. And like I can play at this point in my career, I guess you could call it. I can play whatever I want because on YouTube I don't make any money, right? Like my videos aren't monetized on YouTube, so I can kind of play whatever I want on stream and not have to worry about it. Eventually, if people enjoy the content enough and you know, subscribe on YouTube and stuff, then maybe I'll rethink it. But for now, we can play all the latest jams. Come on. There we go. These guys are being picky. I should be doing this all in front of the camera rather than like in front of me where nobody can see it. Yeah, giving it a nice healthy coating, not going overboard or anything, but a nice healthy coating. Oh, did I not put together another one for this? Oh, that's okay. Still not sure what I'm going to do with the broken one. Probably just live with it, honestly, because I've got the other board. I've got the charity board. By the way, this is a good. I could tilt the cam a bit. That's true. I probably could. But don't need to work on our crop. This might be better. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. This will be a good opportunity, though, to talk about the charity stream a little bit, because we're going to be building another one of these that will go to charity. Not like the keyboard goes to charity, but the proceeds from the raffle of the keyboard will go to charity. There we go. And I'm working on how to set that up at this point. We've finally gotten all the parts in, which took a very long time. But now it's kind of just like figuring out how to do a raffle system correctly, and with the fewest complications, and making sure that the largest amount of money possible goes to charity, things like that. But the charity that we are supporting is called Game to Grow, and it is a Seattle-based charity that uses gaming like Dungeons and Dragons and Minecraft and games like that to help children who have social disabilities to gain really good positive experiences with other people, right? Because a lot of times it's a really harsh environment for people with, autism, Asperger's, any range of, social disabilities. And so, oh, this is gonna suck. That's gonna be fine. So what they do is they kind of like help, build good, positive, team-oriented experiences for these kids. And all through charity. So the two guys that run it, I got to meet in person at Gen Con this past year, which was fantastic. Really great guys. They both have like a psychiatry background, and love games. Like they're just nerds. They're just big nerds, that were like, hey, there's a real need for this, and we are in the science portion of it already. We really understand how games can be used for the greatest good, and decided to make a charity out of it. So I really connected well with that mission. My mom teaches autistic and Asperger's kids, and so it is a cause dear to my heart, and so yeah, that's what this is going to be for. We don't actually have a specific date for the charity build, but now that we have all the parts, I think it's just a matter of scheduling it correctly and making sure that we kind of get eyes on it, which sounds weird, to talk about like kind of getting exposure, but in this case, it's a really good thing to get as many eyes on it as possible, and hopefully it will bring some people in from other hobbies, who maybe haven't considered custom keyboards as a hobby, and get them enticed. And then again, like I think this type of board is really good for getting somebody new into the hobby. Just because like it's hot swap, you can try new things, you can put in your own switches. It's a really low barrier of entry. Like you don't have to do any of the stuff that I'm doing here, you know, to enjoy it and have like a really nice keyboard. So yeah. But this will be the type of stuff that I'll be doing for the charity board as well, to make sure that whoever does win has the nicest experience possible. But it will all be parts that were donated. Everything that goes into the charity board will be from donations, from NovelKeys, from mechanicalkeyboards.com. Yeah. So, I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be fantastic. And if you know of anybody who would be interested in that type of content, you know, and interested in giving a little bit to charity, because the raffle tickets, I'm hoping to sell raffle tickets at $1 each, which very low price point to just kind of, you know, get your name in there. Maybe you can win a board worth, you know, $200-300. Come on. Gosh, it is so tight. There we go. So if you are following any of my socials, you know, we'll be talking about it there. There will probably be one more stream between now and then, where I kind of go full shill mode, you know, and kind of just like talk it up like crazy. That's a really good deed. I like using, you know, my platform, as small as it is, to do good in the world. And I feel very, very privileged, you know, that I can dedicate my time and energy to it. It's, you know, it's not everybody that can, and so like I'm really happy to facilitate that kind of stuff. And I'm going to be looking for more and more opportunities to do that as time goes on. And the keyboard community has really come together, you know, for some awesome stuff in the past. So I know that there are a lot of good people in the hobby. Whew, come on, how'd you there? There are a lot of, you know, great people in the hobby that are looking to do the same type of stuff. So it's not just me, you know, that's doing this type of stuff. Lots and lots of people are. Okay, so we've got our stabs done. Yay! Hypers. Next thing, let's see what we can do next. We'll just put, we'll put stabs in. We'll put, I know that, I was talking to Yiancar about this, or he was talking in somebody else's stream earlier today about this, that it's actually easiest to put the plate to the PCB first. And we're gonna use these screws over here. The two big screws are the ones we care about right now. Putting the plate and the PCB together. Okay, right. So I don't know if you guys can see this. There are these little standoffs here, or threaded standoffs, right here and right here, which are going to be the ones that we use for connecting the PCB to the plate initially. So let's go ahead and flip that over. Just I'm holding it all together so that I make sure that I have the orientation correct. Okay, there we go. And then these guys are, let me see. These guys are Phillips. So we'll switch out our Torx bit for a Phillips bit. And you can use any, this set, like this bit set was very, very cheap. on Amazon. So, like, you don't have to use anything fancy. We're gonna need that Torx bit again, though. Actually, should I use one of my little guys? One of these guys? I think I will. They're like mini washers. If it actually fits over the threading. That's the part I'm not so sure about, is if it'll actually fit over the threading of the screw. I think it will. Yeah. And this can just serve as a protector. So you can see kind of like the metal points on here. And we have the metal of the screw, and as we're throwing it in, we're gonna use that as another way of adding kind of a gasket to it, like a little protective point. That may be a little overboard, but whatever. If you're talking about building your own keyboard, you're already overboard in life. That's just how keyboards work. Okay, we're just going like finger tight. We're not going overboard at all. There's literally no reason to screw things down tightly with keyboards, for the most part. Every screw that you come across, you can and probably should be doing finger tight. Ooh, shaky hands. Okay, so here we have kind of our plate and PCB all together in one spot, not over tightened. Like there's still some give to it, which I want. I'm just gonna make sure these are actually, like this one's actually down. Yep. This one's down. Yep. Perfect. It's a nice plate. Like that matte, I really like it. The black on black, really clean. Okay, let's put some stuff away. Who's texting me? Oh, so I had a friend who's trying to get me into watches right now. He's the one that made me buy this. He didn't make me buy it. I bought it on my own, don't worry. But he's very concerned with whether I like it or not. Okay, so now that works, now that we know that works, let's go back and put the stabs in. Because stabs are important. Don't do it. He isn't a real friend. He is a real friend. Thank you for praying. It's, you know, 1 like equals 1 prayer. He means well, but this is the kind of guy that has $100,000 watches, and I can't keep up with that. No, sir. No. All right, so there's backspace. Oh wait, hang on. There's backspace. There's enter. And there's left shift. And spacebar. Roughly there. Just buy a Rolex. What the? Well, it's not that simple. Hang on. Am I doing this right? No. I had it right the first time. Yes. Okay. Oh, Troy, you're hosting me. Thank you. Why buy a $100,000 watch when you can build a $100,000 keyboard? First of all, I don't know if anybody's built a keyboard quite that expensive. The most expensive keyboard that I can think of is like aftermarket, maybe 5,000 to 6,000. Which is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of money. But it's not $100,000, no. Music got suddenly like, just throw some diamonds in there. I mean, okay. I'm not saying that I can't get you to $100,000. I'm just saying that I don't think anybody's making them purely off of their craftsmanship, you know? Like, nobody's doing $100,000 worth of craftsmanship yet. All right, let's skip forward. Lorne is nice. Okay, so we've been listening to Lorne, which is nice, but it's also very deep, like somber music. So we're gonna hopefully pep it up a little bit. Cool. But like if you think about, you know, some of these watchmakers that have been doing this stuff for hundreds and hundreds of years, like really refining their craftsmanship, like it's hard not to wait. The flip did I just do? It's hard not to kind of understand where that money goes. There we go. Popped out. There we go. Are you backwards? Because other keyboards allow you to do that. Or other plates, I guess I should say. Yeah, okay. So for this one, for whatever reason, sometimes, and also ignore the fingerprints for now, that's because there's lube and everything, I'll clean it up in a minute. But you can kind of like flip this to be like the wire would be inverted from this position, but for whatever reason it's not allowing it on this plate. So isn't it easier if the PCB is screwed onto the plate before placing the tabs? Yeah, it is. I got worried because I forgot that these were plate mounts, and so like I unscrewed it being like, oh wait, I skipped the screw-in part, but they're not. So, yes, you are correct. My brain is just broke. I tried to return it, but they didn't want it. Also, God bless magnetic tips Dude, okay, I don't know where it is. Every once in a while, I need to use my label maker to print out a little doofus label, and I put the doofus label on my forehead. Also, hello camera. There we go. Because my brain just refuses to work sometimes. I can't help it. Okay. Where is... Ah, there it is. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit, just because it's bothering me. And it's just because I had lube on my fingers, and then it looks bad. Oh. Have fun, Troy. I'll talk to you later, sir. Thank you very, very much for stopping in, subbing, hosting, everything. It means a ton, and I'm so happy to see you. Okay. Yeah, we should. Okay. So next, we can talk switches, right? Because we're actually at the point in the program where we can discuss which type of switch we want. So should I make like an actual poll, or should I just like let people shout it out in chat? We've got Holy Pandas, lubed 205 grade 0 Holy Pandas, lubed creams, NovelKeys Creams, also 205 grade 0, Helios 205 grade 0, Get Silent Yellows, and normal Gat Yellows, and these brand new unlubed inks. So if anybody has a preference, let me know, because I am a accommodatey boy. I can put you back because I'm gonna need... No, I don't need you actually again. Futel, if you're still here, do you care? Do you want to hear Helios, or do you want to hear Creams, or anything like that? And then also what we can do is we can kind of look at whether or not we want to do something like this. Creams? Gaming or typing? Kind of both. It doesn't really matter. I'll use whichever switch for both. I think I would probably lean towards creams. Yeah. Okay, let's do lubed creams. And then we'll listen to it. We'll listen to it without foam, and then we'll if we think foam would be a good addition, we'll listen to it with foam. All right, let's put away lube because you're done. The switches are already lubed. Here's my giant stack of switches. Or half of my giant stack of switches. And here's another part of my giant stack of switches. I may or may not have a problem. I may or may not have multiple problems. Oh, the other thing we should do before we do, well, we can do that like at final assembly time. But here are our nice NovelKeys Creams in conjunction with kale. Very nice. So this is definitely like a full NovelKeys board, isn't it? And you guys are gonna like the the keycaps that I have planned too, because I know people have been appreciating the black on black. And yeah, like I was saying, the really nice thing is, you know, since these are 5-pin switches, we don't have to clip them, and we can just use them as is. So what I'm going to do is tack down the corners first, just to add some rigidity so that once we're in the middle, we're not like, you know, having to bow the plate all over the place and deform it.
This could be the disaster I've been waiting for.
Hang on, I got this. Crit 3x1. Crit Exy? Critexy? You'll have to let me know. Thank you for following. We're building an NK65, and this one's for me. But we're gonna be building another one for charity very, very soon. Do creams have the same tightness? Hang on. Do creams have the same tightness as the Kales on a plate? I'm not entirely sure what you're asking, because each plate is different, but like when inserting and removing, like it does not seem bad, if that's what you're asking. It's not as bad as something like Holy Pandas, which, like, you know, the housings for Holy Pandas are notoriously really, really tight. These don't seem bad. So what I'm kind of doing, since these are hot swap, right? You can get away with this, but you can basically, here, I'll show you. You can basically put the switch through, right? And then kind of do the plate first and then push it further. So like I'm kind of pulling between the plate and the switch at first, and like you'll hit one pop and then you just push down into the plate or into the PCB. That's how I'm doing it. And I feel like that's the way it wants to go in, if that makes sense. And that's going to be mostly on the outer edges, right? In the middle, it should add rigidity. Like, you shouldn't have that concern. It should kind of like all go in with one fluid motion. But on the outside, I say, you know, go through the plate first and then, you know, worry about tackling the PCB afterwards. And at this point, we can kind of just like leave it down and go to town. So far, I've only tried MX Blacks, Zelios, Kale, Box Brown, and the Kales are way tighter. Oh, okay. This doesn't seem too bad on this plate. But yeah, I highly recommend you do anchor switches, like, you know, these ones that I've done kind of in the stress points, and then luckily you do have the screws on the back that will add some rigidity as well, so it's not, you know, quite as bad. But these aren't too bad. Also, pro tip. These things are lifesavers. I went to Hobby Lobby at one point. I was buying video stuff, like stuff for a video shoot, and I saw this like organizer. It's like a crafts organizer, and for whatever reason, like these individual, you know, things that go into this larger case. So I've got this larger case here, which you can kind of see, like I've put, you know, springs, keycaps, switches, whatever. Each one of these is the perfect size for like 70 or 80 switches. So I've just been using these, like every time that I lube switches, you know, or, you know, I'm trying to kind of keep them separate, put them into one of these, slide it into the larger case. And it was like $15, $20. Not bad at all. You got any Brockhampton fans? The RGB on this is not going to be, since these are like, you know, completely opaque switches. The RGB is not going to be fantastic, but I'm still gonna show it off a little bit.
This could be the disaster I've been waiting for.
Mechanics, welcome. Thank you so much for the follow. The RGB isn't going to be super impressive, but we're still going to go through that because I want to match it to the kind of purple that I use. I have this really nice purple here. We're going to turn off the light just to show you. Boop. Like I really like this purple. I think it matches the channel graphics pretty well. So I'll probably do that at first, and then I'll get tired of it and turn it off later. Also, mechanics. I think I've worn your gloves before. I love mechanics gloves. First time watching. How long have you been into the hobby? About a year. So like I'm still newer, and I've missed out on a lot of the popular group buys, but I got in for the NK65, which I'm really happy about, and I'm also in for Polaris, which is a 60% gasket mount board that will be coming in January, end of January. So we'll be having like a Polaris build. We're gonna have so much more content coming up for keyboards. I'm really excited. But right now they're all personal builds. I'm still working out whether or not I should be doing commissions and stuff as well. But I don't feel like I have the standing, I guess, in the community yet to, you know, be offering services like that. But if people are interested, I'm open to the idea. I'll be building one for one of my mods coming up, but he's still deciding on what he wants. You can at futile. Hopefully their trains actually get out of the sockets. I think they're gonna be okay. I don't trust like that. That's fair. Like, I don't know. I think it'll be okay, but like you said, you probably have been hurt, you know, in the past in ways that I haven't been hurt. Creams are that one. I gotcha. This is the first time I've actually used creams on a board. I lubed these a long time ago, and I've just been waiting to use them, so I'm really excited to. But if it's gonna be a pain, then maybe I'll just leave them in for the life of the board. Come on. There we go. Look forward to future builds. Fairly new as well. Hope you'll be able to give some advice. Yeah, absolutely. I'm always willing to give advice either here or in the Discord. I'm very, very active on Discord. And yeah, just let me know. Or DMs. Yeah, some of these are tighter than others. I'll say that. Some of these are definitely tighter than others. Did somebody say build service? I do it for free with an asterisk. Is the asterisk shipping and lube and all that stuff? There are actually quite a few people who offer free build services. I know that Tyson does as well. Tyson builds. I saw somebody recently who did build services only for hot swap boards, which is called assembly. I don't know if it's a build service at that point. It's an assembly service. Yeah, I don't know. Reddit's a weird place, dude. You don't care to throw it at you? Well, that might be another asterisk you have to add. Don't actually throw it. You gotta ship it with care. If it's pre-built, I will do everything for free except desoldering. Desoldering isn't too bad if you have one of those like Hacko desoldering guns. But if you're doing it by hand, like with a solder sucker or something, it does get tedious. The only thing that I wouldn't do for free is lubing switches. Like, because lubing switches, to do 70 switches is, I don't know, like 4 hours. And like, that's a lot of time. Some people have it down to a science. I know that, like, I recommend Straight Classy. If you do !lube services, I recommend Straight Classy. He does it for about 40 cents per switch. Which I think is fine. Like, I think that's a really good price. For me, I only lube my own switches. Just because it's... And it sounds kind of weird to say this, but it's not, like, worth my time to do it for anybody else yet. And it just takes too long. And it's not great content either, right? Like, if I'm gonna be streaming building a keyboard, I don't really want to go through the tedium. You don't trust any human? And that's why I only do my own. Is there some reason you're being stubborn? Uh-oh. Oh, that's why. Okay. Got it. When I was putting that one back together after lubing, the housing hadn't come entirely over, so like it wasn't fitting into the slot correctly. Okay. Oh, I like lubing. That's not the problem. The problem is, would I do it for somebody else and spend 4+ hours of my time doing it for somebody else? That's a tougher call. But like, if it's just me doing it for myself, since I know the way I lube and I like the way that I lube, it's much easier to do it while like watching a TV show or something like that. But some days I finish up with work, because I have a normal day job. Some days I finish up with work, and I'm just like, my brain is so fried that the only things I can do are like mind-numbingly simple tasks. And so like the methodical nature of lubing, does that for me. Like it helps me kind of calm down. What do? I used to be a software engineer. in kind of like the AI big data world, but then I just recently got promoted into management. So now I am a manager guy. Big man. Big Chad. No. Also, did I call you Chad earlier? I meant to call you Cad. I'm an idiot. Okay. So... okay, no. I've taken a course on that. No. No. Bad. No. That's legal. No, it's not. Propaganda. Fake news. Get out of here. But now what I do, you've been called Chad so many times, the print, oh, okay. I don't know why my brain went there. But, you know, now it's kind of like, from an engineering perspective, you're kind of fighting for your product or your software, you know, by being kind of down in the weeds and, you know, working on specific bugs and all that stuff. And I'm really glad that I did that for almost 10 years. Before moving into management, but now what's really nice is that I'm fighting for my product and my software in the same way, just like at a different level, and you know, using different tools in my toolkit, using more of my communication skills than just the engineering skills. So it was the right time for me to move, but yeah. No, none of that. Not at my place of business. For the macro point instead of the micro? Yeah, kind of. Okay, switches in. All right, let's plug our PCB back in. Open up switch hitter again. Make sure that all of our switches are now good now that they're in place. What kind of cam setup do I have for my board? So for this camera, this guy, this is a C920, and for this guy, this is a Fuji X-T3 with a 10 to 24 millimeter lens. So like, it's I can zoom in, I can go, whoa, what the, and I can just go back, you know, two different mounts, yeah. This one's just like on my monitor, and then this one's actually on a tripod. You know, I never thought about it, but MG seems to try to avoid me as much as possible. The fact that is tray mount. Well, it's top mount. Deceptive, kinda. Okay, let's see. Are we good? Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Okay. We didn't break anything. That's good. How? Because this is the top, and it goes into the top. There are like 12 screws around here. They're Torx screws, like they're different than the other types of screws that are used in there, but it's definitely top mount. All right, switch hitter. No, it's totally fine. Okay. Look at all the pretty colors going. Ah, I did it again. That key. Okay, I'm gonna really need to rebind that key. My end key. Escape. Escape. My end key is a scene switch because on my last keyboard I didn't have the end key. And so I could use it and not worry about hitting it. Like I'd have to do it intentionally. Oh. Hang on, we got some media switches. I hit a function key and affected the volume of the music. Interesting. Okay. So I think that's everybody, right? Oh, that's what it was. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, we're good. Space? Oh. Oh! You're right. Hello, Mr. Space. What is your problem? Okay. Thank you for calling that out. I was like watching every other key except for that one. It's a standard bottom row, like a 6.25, except for like these are gonna be 1.25, and then these are gonna be 1U over here. But yeah, I can measure like and show you once we get it together. Okay. Let's set you aside. Because we tested this guy from the back, and he was fine. That was a little tight. I will acquiesce. What the heck? Is the focus on the app? Oh! Why was it doing it for everybody else, though? You're right. Okay, so that guy's probably fine. I also noticed, like, in Twitch chat, for some reason, I started hitting a bunch of spaces. No, it's fine. The switch is fine. But, like, I just pulled it out of rotation, then put it back into rotation, so it's not a big deal. Okay. Great. Great. We're almost to the... We're almost to, like, the sound test portion. I'm excited. Okay, so, as we mentioned, what we're gonna do for this guy is we're gonna have to put him in like this. And this is a little difficult to do just because, you know, you're going into a very tight tolerance right there. But that's what we're gonna do, and then we're going to put our Torx screws back in, which we have over here. These are the ones that we took from the top, so I'm just gonna put those back in the top, even though I think the ones that are over here in this little area are the exact same type of bit. I think they're still the T6 Torx screws. The plate has the plate mount cutouts, right? Plate mount cutouts. Oh, you mean like, so it's like an isolation mount? Yeah. Because it's like, it has these little cutouts here, right? So that you can basically screw the plate back to the top, and then the only place that the PCB will be touching anything is right here, right? These two spots, these two screws are the only places that the PCB is technically touching anything. These holes go through on the case, right? So the bottom of the case here, these like the threaded standoffs there will actually go through the case or through the PCB. So yeah. So it's like that's how it's called in isolation mount. Torps. I need to take a sip of drink as well. Do you use dust covers for your boards? No, I don't. I just clean them. And then yeah, they are forcing you to use plate mount stabs. That is correct. No, I just use, I clean my keyboards, and then I just recently bought from Dixie, I bought a Pelican case, so I'm gonna actually be kind of keeping my keyboards in there, I think, most of the time, until, I don't know. I'm gonna be moving soon, actually. I'm gonna be moving back to Colorado, where I was living before moving to Illinois, and once we go back to Colorado, I'll get like a more official setup, and I might have keyboards in the background and be a pro streamer, RGB everything, you know, that kind of stuff. It's not true. I don't want the RGB everything. Actually, when I go back to Colorado, I really like wood, like. Allow me to rephrase. I like rich wood grains and things like that. Like, I think it would be really fun to have like maybe a reclaimed. This will happen from time to time where I say things that I don't mean, and then I have to backtrack. What, from Richmond? No. Okay. Hang on. Okay. There's no way to salvage this, is there? Like, none. But I think it would be cool to have, you know, to have like a wood motif in the background. Because I like Colorado. I like nature. And when I was in Colorado last, I spent much of my time up in the mountains. And like that's where a lot of Colorado's appeal is for me, is just, you know, being able to kind of connect with nature like that. So I think having a setup that's kind of reflective of that would be really nice. Anyways, plate mount stabs. People who hate on plate mount just because pre-builts use them and they're all... Wait, hang on. Just because pre-builts use them and they're bad is dumb. Well, yeah, I think it's entirely situational. But I use both when the situation called for it. Obviously, this one is a plate mount stab situation. People who hate on plate mount stabs have never actually used GMK plate mounts. Oh. Yeah. EY's new stream office. Okay, let me check. Alright, let me check this. Oh! Whoa! See, what am I, like the guy from the Monopoly game? What? No. What is his name? Mr. Moneybags? No. Here's what's gonna happen, if we're being honest. I'm gonna move back to Colorado. I'm going to find the only unoccupied room. I'm going to call it my office or my stream space or whatever you want to label it. And then I'm gonna be like, wait, I told people I wanted it to reflect Colorado, you know, mountain nature stuff, and I'm just gonna go out and get like a little twig or something, like some little evergreen tree, and pull it inside and call it good. The desk is the wrong way. What is this? I know, I noticed that too. And there's also something like the back left leg, for whatever reason, something weird's going on over there. What is that white thing? I have no idea. Is that a computer? But then it's like part of the leg is like photoshopped out. I don't know. There are lots of confusing things about that picture. But yeah, so some people were saying it would be really good if Mike would release the plate files for this, so that if you wanted to upgrade this to, you know, a brass plate or carbon fiber or PC or POM, FR4, whatever, you know, you could do that, and I think that would be a really nice thing too. But at this point, I'm just really happy that it shipped, and that the matte black on it looks as good as it does. Okay. So here we are. Right. Still got a little bit of my lubey fingers on it, but essentially that's the hard part done, right? And then the final connections will be through the plate here to the base. Okay. Just so we don't lose them, I'm gonna put them there. Ah! Almost lost one. It's fine. Also, word to the wise, always thread backwards first. I know that a lot of people will already know this, and that's fine. But always thread backwards first when you're screwing something in, just to make sure that you actually have the right threading and that you're not going to lock it. Like, you're not going to strip the threads and be doomed to a life of needing to like drill out screws. It's just so much easier to just go back a little bit, just a tiny little bit, and then you'll hear it pop and like drop into place snugly. Then you can start going forward. I've dealt with so many stripped and bound threads that I just mention it every time, on the off chance that somebody doesn't know. Oh, okay. Here are our strips, our feet. Whatever, I'll clean it later. So now what we're doing is we're just gonna apply these feet into their little channels. I don't even know if that, I don't know if that was a grammar police comment. Okay, we just need to make sure we get it all up in that corner. Oh. I don't know. Okay. It just didn't seem malicious. Okay, it's very tight on one side. Like, I got it right up against the edge over here, and then on this side, it is wanting to go over. Let's try to massage it a little bit. Okay. So I think the trick to that is making sure you don't go like all the way, like don't be pressing down as you go, but basically lay it in, and then you're gonna like push out from the center once you've actually gotten it in place. Okay, now that we've got him down, let's go ahead and make sure that we don't go overboard over here. But this is really good that I'm kind of working out some of the kinks now, because I'm going to be building this again coming up for charity, and I want to get that one super right, obviously. Okay, so in keeping with our black on black on black on black theme, I've seen desks designed that way, luxury styled, and luxury styled, and from what I guess the white thing is a trash bin or something. Oh, I see, okay. It is a shadow that you see. Interesting. Yeah, it was just like playing tricks on my brain for sure. Okay. GMK, white on black. Are stems usually always wobbly? It depends. It definitely depends on the maker. It shouldn't, is the answer. It should not wobble. And if it does, that's either the maker. I mean, it's usually just on the manufacturer at that point. Yes. Because like, I mean, I can show you the amount of wobble in these guys, right? Like it should not be much. I mean, you can't eliminate wobble entirely, just because like there has to be some amount of, space between, where the shoulders meet the housing and, all that. Like there has to be some amount of movement available, but it should not. Yeah, these are NovelKeys Creams, yes. Can you not, sir? Okay.
She sat me down and told me that I didn't have to cry. Said I didn't need to get down or feel empty inside. And then told me that she'll love me for as long as she's alive.
Okay, this is already looking great. Black on black on black. And oh, the sound test. Oh, the sound test is gonna be good. I'm a little bit slower about this because I like to do it in order. Especially since this is a new layout, like, I need to make sure that what I'm putting in place actually makes sense. Right, and this is full backspace? Yes. And full enter? And then, oh gosh, I'm gonna forget what we said about these. I'll just look at the NovelKeys page. End page up, page down. Okay, and then a function. Except I thought that when we were testing it, end was in a different place. But that's okay. Hello? Yeah, see, that's weird too, because that end is a row 4 end? 3 or 4. And then page up is like row 1. That's row 2. It's gonna get weird, but that's okay. I'll probably go back through this anyway and like set it up to be what I want, because I'm gonna, as I use this over the coming days, I'll definitely get a better idea of what I want for these extra keys that I now have, because I haven't had these keys in a long time. Plug it in and press escape. That is one path, yes. Okay. Yeah, this 8-degree angle is gonna be nice too. I like it. And then since this will probably actually end up on YouTube, say hi to YouTube. But also, I'm gonna do the Nathan Kim take a picture with it and use it as the thumbnail. NK's crooked. It's not crooked, but I can tell you why it looks crooked if you want. And it's because it's a different row, right? Like, I'll show it on camera in a minute. What do I want for that anyway? We'll just give it a code key. No. Home. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Uh-oh. Post a link. Alright, hang on. Hi, YouTube, like and subscribe. Here, let me permit you. 1 second. Exclamation mark. No, you're good. You're good. Permit. Mechanics. There you go. If only we could do stepped caps. Actually, hang on. Wait, I have stepped control as well. That's interesting. Yeah. So we can't do stepped caps because the switch is not in the right position, but that's okay. Hey, YouTube, wait, what are you watching this? Wait. I love it. I've been slowly plugging Twitch on YouTube, because I initially I was gonna let YouTube be a place where I did product reviews and
This could be the disaster I've been waiting for.
Fozzix, dear Lord in heaven, it's Fozzix. What are you doing here? Why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you following me? Why is Fozzix here? I've been subbed to Fozzix for many years. I love him very much. He's a dear friend. Lurking? Good. So we're doing keyboard content. We're building an NK65 and it's gonna sound amazing. These are lubed NovelKeys Creams. Actually, I should start with, how much do you know about custom keyboards, Fozzix? Actually, you're allowed to lurk. You don't have to respond to anything. But I just don't know like how in-depth I should get about keyboards. Bought an all-white Code V3 last week. Nice. So we're doing like a blacked out 65% right now. And I'm really enjoying it.
Let's go.
That's so loud. I need to figure that. Okay, I need to get better at that and about not freaking the heck out. Mechanics, thank you so much for the sub. It did. The music, like the contrast between that and the music was so loud. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you. And you like to go from kind of like coming into the stream brand new first day and subbing, like, man, thank you so much. But I need to, like, let me open Streamlabs because that was so loud. I don't even remember what we were talking about because you guys take my breath away. Okay, dashboard. Before anybody else subs, hang on. Don't just hold your dang horses, okay? Subscriptions. Sound volume down. 10%? Let's try 10%. Save. Test subscription.
Let's go.
That is better.
This is a test.
It's a test. Did you pass? 6%. Save settings. Test subscription. That's better. Okay. That's like 6%.
This is a test.
Oh, but the text-to-speech is still really loud. Anyway. We can worry about that later. EY is a star. Really been enjoying the stream. Thank you so much for those kind words. Holy crap. I like to talk about keyboards the way that I kind of wish somebody talked to keyboards about, or to me. There are a lot of really great content creators out there, but a lot of them speak on a very, intense level, and I just like to kind of slow down and enjoy hanging out with chat. Okay, we need short shift. So this is a 2U shift instead of our giant, like 3.25 U shift. So this is the standard shift, right? That most keyboards are going to come with. This one, like, this is a standard size shift. But then for this guy, since we have a 65%, we're going to use a little guy, little shift. And then we have a 6.25 U spacebar that I like to flip. Okay, and then you have to run. Thank you for the stream. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Thank you for coming out. Okay, so we've got, for the bottom row, we did our arrows, and then on the NovelKeys site, this is a code or a function, depending on what you want to call it. Then we have control. Actually, hang on. Short control. 1.25u control. Code alt. Okay, and to, for the person that was asking about wait, I did that wrong. Do I want this to be alt? I guess I do. I guess I want this to be alt. Assuming I have a 1U alt. Yeah, I do. We'll call U function. Also, we have any Clyro fans? Because I really enjoy the like bedroom pop. Just gonna put a control as a placeholder. Okay, so we are done with this. The all blacked out NK65. I am really digging this look. Very pleasing. It's got fingerprints all over it because I'm a madman, but those can be cleaned. That's fine. Let's weigh it as well, so we know what its built weight is. Cam is having seizures? Wait, what? This cam? This cam. Good cam or bad cam? Oh, okay. It sometimes does that with autofocus. Okay, the built weight is 2 pounds, 15 and 3/8 ounces. So it's like, it's on the lighter side, but it definitely has heft to it. Like, it does not feel underweighted, if that makes sense. And then we get to do, it's a tank. Oh, Phozix, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. I'll let you know when we're gonna be building an actual tank, okay? But the nice thing about really hefty keyboards is their sound qualities, right? Their ability to dampen sound and everything, and then also when you're working on like a nice desk mat and you have nice lubed switches, and if you want to, you can put dampening in the case itself through something like this, which is toolbox liner, and really dampen that sound. But I'm gonna go ahead and pause the music. Is it plastic or metal? This keyboard is metal. This is a solid aluminum base. Here, let's... And then it has an aluminum top piece that goes over top and then kind of gives it that seamless look. So as you can tell, there are no visible screws because it's all done internally. Okay, let's get intimate. Maybe a little bit higher. Otherwise, I can't really type on it. There we go. So those are lubed NovelKeys Creams with 205 grade 0. Clipped, lubed, and... No, just clipped and lubed, not band-aided. Stabs, no toolbox liner, no nothing. And then, you know, just some TLC. But I think the mods sound really nice too. And you can always tell if a switch is over lubed too, and these don't feel over lubed at all. At least I can tell like when I'm typing, but I think that's a really nice sound. Potato, hello! We just built a keyboard. I do kind of like the floating hands thing. I'm not at all a trained typist, so please don't judge my typing ability. Just judge my building ability. But anyway, we can put the music back on. Was it easy? Yeah, it wasn't bad at all actually. This is a hot swap keyboard, so like you can kind of just like, you know, pop the switches in and not actually have to solder them in place. Also, Lucky, to your point earlier about the end key looking weird, it's because different keys on a keyboard, and I can kind of show you from both sides, they have rows associated with them. So like you see the angle, you know, that each of those keys has on it, like that's proportional to which row it's on. So like the top row is going to be called row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, and then most of the time, or a lot of times, the bottom row is also row 4 in terms of the profile. There, you can get row 5. That's very dramatic, but it means that you have to basically be like poised up and over your keyboard more in order to hit those keys naturally. So the reason that the end looks weird or looks crooked is because it doesn't match the row that it's on, right? And then the same with the page down, page up, you know, because like from a normal keyboard, those keys wouldn't be there. So we have to kind of play around with that a little bit. But yeah, that's why. And then music. So I think it sounds really nice. I'm really pleased with this. Yay. Okay. So we're gonna build another one of these, and not right this minute, we're not, but on maybe Christmas Eve actually. What keyboard am I using right now? This one or this one? The white one is a Vortex Poker 3, which is a 60%, and then this one is a NovelKeys NK65, which is a 65%, and that just means that the NK65 has extra arrow keys and function keys on the right here. So it gives you a little bit more utility. I like having dedicated arrow keys. I didn't realize how much I would miss them until I went without them. So this was kind of a big deal for me to get to the 65%, because I think this is my ideal. Like, this is my ideal form factor, and all of the other, or most of the other keyboards that I'm going to be building on the channel will probably be 65%. This is my preference. All right, you have a great night, Golden. Thank you so much for stopping by, spending your night with us. It really means a lot. Thank you, sir. And then yeah, I guess I can very briefly. I know it's getting late for a lot of people, but I can very briefly go over what it means to program one of these guys, right? Also, you can see the RGB is very muted under there. But what you can do is you can kind of go into this via configurator here. Let me make sure that I have my other keyboard unplugged, and then this guy plugged it back in. So that it's actually like using it as my main keyboard now. What kind of PC do I have? It's it's like a Core i7 6700K that I overclock to 4.6, and then a 1080 Ti, and like 16 gigs of memory. .6. But I do it, and I do it well, and it's stable, so screw you. Everything that I do with overclocking is very calculated, I'd say. And like, I make sure that I watch voltages and everything very carefully, so. But it's stable. I can run it all day like that if I wanted to at 100%. I have, in fact. I've done tests. But just to show you guys really quickly what it would take to reprogram this guy, I still need to settle on a layout for myself, but to show you what it would take to do it, this is a website that allows you to build a layout using the QMK format in firmware. So what we did here, you can select your keyboard, and since we're working on the NK65, I selected that, which means it'll pull the default layout. And so this is what the default will be as it comes on the board. But if I wanted to, say, take home, page up, page down, and end, and turn them into function keys, right? I can get rid of those and say, I want you to be F13. I want you to be F14. I want you to be F15, and you to be F16. And this is very common because the F13 through 16 don't occur on a natural keyboard, right? There's no, well, I don't know if there's no keyboard, but on most keyboards, you're not going to find an F13 through an F16. And so you can use those as kind of macro keys and say, well, since I know I won't be hitting it by accident, and I'm not going to be duplicating a key, I can set that to be OBS switch to scene. I can set that to be media pause, or whatever. Or if you just want them to be dedicated media keys, we can go into our media key section and say, I want you to be volume up, I want you to be volume down, I want you to be previous, and I want you to be next. Or, you know, pause, or whatever. Or mute. So, like, there's no end to what you can do in this. You can also set layers. You can see layers 0 through 3 already exist for this one. Like, it has default, you know, layouts for 0 through 3, technically. But I'm not going to mess with those right now. But what you do is, once you found a configuration that you really liked, you know, if you were putting media keys over here, you would say, I want to compile this, and it would bake it like a potato. I don't know who programmed this website, but they really liked the idea of a baking potato. Takes a minute, but it's a free service, so you can't complain. You're not allowed. This is taking a while, isn't it? I noted last time that I used this website that it's taking longer and longer, I think. Not sure why. I need to talk to the people who wrote this website. See what's going on. But once this completes, we're going to have the firmware. There we go. We're going to have the firmware, and this firmware button, the download button, will be no longer grayed out. And we can download it to just our downloads folder. And then we would, if I can show you kind of how this works, QMK toolbox. Okay, this is the QMK toolbox. So this is where you're actually going to load your object. Did the firmware not download correctly? Save. Open containing folder. Okay, it's there. That's weird. Oh, it's looking for hex, that's why. Okay, if we go to our binaries, then like you'd load in your file, and then you know how I talked about earlier there was a hard reset button on here? You're going to find your reset button, and then as it resets, this piece of software will be able to pick up that it's in a reset state and load firmware onto it at the same time. So you can do this auto flash feature, which is right here. You'll check that box for auto flash, and then whenever this is plugged in and you hit the reset button, it will automatically load in your new profile. So that's how that works. We can also go to, let's see if the NK65 is even in here, because this is another way to load a default profile. HIJKLMN. NK65, there we go. So we could also just load the default file for this, even though for some reason it didn't want to load. So there we go. That is pretty much the long and short of it. And then you can do the same thing for RGB lighting, you know, as we said, media controls, different layers, different, you know, anything. Like that's the beauty of it, is literally anything is possible here. Yeah, you're late, Kofi. You're like really late. And then just for final dimensions, it is 12.5 inches by 4 and 5/16. Liking that cable? This one? This is a Rama cable. Yeah. So we did black on black with a black on black cable. I guess we did white on black on black on black with a gray on black. I don't know. There's just lots of black. I really like it. I'm gonna mess with it so that it doesn't actually have the RGB or anything, but I like it a lot. And did you hear the creams? Do you want to hear them? Do you want to hear the creams? It's so nice. Let me actually unplug it first, so I'm not gonna ruin anything. I like. I like. I like. And it's hot swap, yeah. So like, if I ever get tired of that for whatever reason, swap it out. Put some silent switches in there. Put Holy Pandas in there. What PCB is it? It's the one that came with it, which is, gosh, what is his name? Let me just bring you over here. Yiancar, that's right. It's a Yiancar PCB. It's also matte black. So this is a very clean matte black build. I'm really digging it. Also it says charcoal gray, and you can definitely call it charcoal gray. It's very close to black though. It's all about how the light hits it. But yeah. Yeah. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. Oh, I guess I don't need to be doing that. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. And we met a lot of new people. We got new subs. We made friends. We taught people stuff, I think. Most of the people probably already knew what I was saying, but I still said it anyway. So, yeah. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. And we've got another one to build coming up for charity. So, very excited about that as well. Anyway, I'm probably going to sign off at this point. I hope you guys have a fantastic night. Thank you so much. So much for coming out. It means a lot that you would choose to spend your time hanging out with me. And I hope you have a wonderful night. I wonder if there's anybody that we can raid really fast. You came in for the ending? You have pretty bad timing, Kofi. I'm not gonna lie. Is there anybody on right now? Fozix, thank you so much, dude, for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful night. Makers and crafting. Teha's. Oh, that's okay. That's cheap. I'm not gonna host Teha. What about Mr. Horologist? He just hosted someone else? Oh, okay. Should have hosted me. Now I'm mad. JK. Is there anybody good live? Any specifically small streamers? I love hosting small streamers. Makers and crafting. Anybody doing keyboard anything? Am I the only person doing keyboard stuff right now? Lots of Gundam people. Keychains. Me. Am I allowed to host myself? I hope not. All right, we're gonna host Arcadum. He's another good old friend. He I don't know what he's up to anymore, but he's a D&D bro. So we're gonna host him. But you guys have a fantastic night. Arcadum. Just chatting. All right, we're gonna go see what he's up to. Give him some hearts, and I will see you all very soon. I think it's gonna be Tuesday when we're back. I don't know how many people are actually gonna be around this coming week because it's like holidays and stuff, but that's okay. We're gonna do it anyway. You guys have a wonderful night. Bye.